What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector. I'm your host, BTC. I'm bringing you a bottom tier video from a top tier content creator. This is a non-entry video because I'm posting this after MSKI, that's MSKI 361's 400 subscriber giveaway video. It's too late to enter the contest, but I don't care. I really enjoy these community these community challenge things. And for MSKI's 400 subscriber giveaway that I learned via Alex Big Blue, he introduced me to MSKI, and then I did some research, watched some other people's video. The idea of the challenge was to provide your 4 Mount Rushmore creators, be they artists, writers, inkers, letterers, editors, whatever. Pretty sure people aren't going to put letterers and editors on here, but you just never know. Everybody has different tastes. If I was to do a list of the most iconic, most celebrated writers, it would look very generic. It'd be probably Jack Kirby, Kevin Eastman, Alan Moore, and then I'd probably have to put Alex Ross on the list. That would be, if I was to do who I think is the greatest, most celebrated creators of all time, those 4 are who I think of and who I'd put on my list. Maybe Will Eisner belongs on that list, but it just, those 4 stick in my mind. However, that is not really my list. That's not my personal Mount Rushmore. My personal Mount Rushmore is going to look a lot different, I think, than a lot of people's Mount Rushmore, because I am a bottom tier collector. I have bottom tier taste. I know what I like, and I like what I know, and I don't care how incredible or celebrated these creators are. I just like what I like, right? So let's get into it. My first Mount Rushmore member has to be top 2 favorite writers of all time, and that's Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is well known for his time at Marvel with Punisher Max. He's also done Hellblazer in the 90s. Some of the most iconic John Constantine stories come from the Garth Ennis Hellblazer run. Haven't read them, that's just what I've heard. I'm a big fan of Constantine. He's also done Preacher, that's his brainchild, his baby, got an AMC show for that. And then my favorite works of Garth Ennis are his time writing Demon Volume 3 and then Hitman. I recently read the entire Hitman run in trade paperback form last year, around the holidays, October, November, December. Those 3 months I read all 60 issues of Hitman. And I have to say, it's the most endearing story I've ever read in my life. That story has a lot of heart, a lot of relatability, and then it also coincides with some great action and testosterone and wacky, wild Garth Ennis concepts as well. So Garth Ennis is definitely number 4, but this Mount Rushmore, even though I'm using Garth Ennis as my 4th spot, this is not a ranking. Everybody on this Mount Rushmore could be my number 1. I feel like I got to go to an artist here. My 3rd spot on my Mount Rushmore has to be Doug Mahnke. I love Doug Mahnke. He's so incredibly good at what he does that he's gotten me to essentially break my rule of not buying cover buys. I'm big on, now maybe I lie to myself. Maybe I have a lot more books than I may ever read in my lifetime. That's a thing collectors have to deal with. A lot of us tell ourselves we're going to read what we purchase, and you're not going to buy 200 books in a weekend and then expect to read 200 comic books maybe in a year. I've never read 200 comic books in a year. That's a lot of reading. So that's a thing. But anyways, back to Doug Mahnke. He's known, in my heart, what he's known for me, is his Lobo Mask miniseries that I think is very incredible. He's known for Green Lantern 55, his 1 and 12, I think it's a 1 and 12 variant. That is just an incredible, beautiful image of Lobo. And then his more recent work, he did a 1 in 25 set for Dark Knight's death metal, and that's kind of where my rabbit trail, where I was going, is I've read death metal, I know the story, and I'm really type A anal about, I want cover A and that's it. I don't do variants, I don't do multiples. I just, I want to spend my money on more books that I don't own than trying to spend money on the same thing I already own, right? That all that double dipping just feels like a waste of money to me. But when it comes to this set, the 7 image set, it's just so beautifully rendered and drawn and inked and colored by Doug Monka, that I'm going out and I'm collecting it. It's 7 beautiful pictures of Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman, the Batman Who Laughs, Robin, King, and one more member, I forget. It doesn't matter, but they're all playing like instruments, and it's a heavy metal set. It's an incredible set, and I want it. I want to display it, and I just love the art. And it's purely a cover by Hunt for me, and I have no problem. There's no angst. There's no OCD anxiety with this Hunt. It's just that good. And that's just a testament to how good Doug Monka is to make me chase those covers. Next up, going back to writing, I'm kind of spoiling who my writer is here by standing in front of phase 1 of my Justice League International Shrine. I'm building a shrine starting with this poster. This is a centerpiece of my Justice League International Shrine. I hope to have completed by the end of the year or sometime next year. And it's Keith Giffen. He's the co-creator of one of my favorite my favorite character of all time, Lobo. I love the main man. He's the reason I'm in the hobby. And my feelings towards the character have evolved over time, but he's always been my favorite. And I owe a lot to Keith Giffen, and I've explored Keith Giffen's work. I really am learning to enjoy his Omega Men series that he put out in the early 80s. Omega Men #3 being the first appearance of Lobo, and then I love his Legion 89 series from, you guessed it, 1989. Of course, he's known probably best for his works at DC, doing the Justice League of the 80s, the Bwahaha Justice League. Love the Justice League International so much. I'm creating a freaking shrine on this wall to one of Keith Giffen's greatest works. Sadly, Keith Giffen has passed away. I'll never get the chance to meet Keith Giffen. My heart is broken that he passed before I got the chance to meet him. He came to Atlanta, which is a 4-hour drive for me, back in 2019, but my son was only a year old, so I declined on the irresponsible opportunity to go meet Keith Giffen that year. But yeah, Keith Giffen has made a lasting impact on me, and even though I'll never get to tell him in person, I will always be grateful to Keith Giffen. The characters he's created, Rocket Raccoon, Lobo, many others, and the time he spent at DC making us all laugh instead of being brooding and serious. And then last on my Mount Rushmore, probably I did say anybody on this list could be #1. No, this artist, I'm going back to art, this artist is most definitely my #1 artist. No one could ever take this artist's place. I'm wearing a shirt of one of his covers. That is Phil Jimenez. I love Phil Jimenez's work. In my heart, what he's most known for in my heart is Lobo 20, and then there's 2 Guy Gardner Warrior covers he's done. I'll be posting all this artwork and images in this video as well. So these 2 Guy Gardner Warrior images will show up in this video somewhere. And then what he's most known for outside of my heart is his time working with Wonder Woman. He's known a lot from haters as being a George Perez ripoff. I don't really view him as such, and I think his art has evolved so much over time that he's become his own person these days. His time doing the history of the Amazons or whatever for DC Black Label, he did a cover for one of those books, and it is incredible. The detail Phil puts in that cover is just fantastic. Oh my gosh, the love and care he has for Wonder Woman and Nubia and all of the Amazons is just insane. And then I couldn't tell you why. This is my favorite cover of all time, Lobo 20, that Phil Jimenez drew. You know, it's not this fantastic Alex Ross timeless variant. It's not this great portrait like a Simon Bisley #1. It just, I don't know, the aesthetic of Lobo 20 just speaks to me. The inks, the colors, the detail, and just the way Lobo looks on the page is just incredible to me. It just screams 90s comics. I was born in 1989. My entire childhood was in the 90s. And just that look of the 90s comics, even though they were extreme and people judge the 90s that are older than me and have read a lot of 90s comic books, that is just home to me, that the whole 90s era, and just it makes me feel safe and warm and fuzzy, and I just love it. And Lobo 20 by Phil Jimenez takes me to that place, and I love his 2 Guy Gardner covers that feature Lobo as well. One of them is an homage to a very, very famous painting, I believe, and that's a great cover as well. So that's my Mount Rushmore. Just to recap: Garth Ennis, Doug Manka, Keith Giffen, and Phil Jimenez. I don't think I could enjoy any other creator as much as these 4. It's been a pleasure reading and looking at these creators' works. And to you, MSki361, even though this is my non-entry, I'd still like to congratulate you on 400 subscribers. I'm very new to you. I just subscribed to you tonight. That's how quick and how fast I got the camera and decided to make this video. Thank you for putting out your challenge. I love these kinds of things. It gives me an opportunity to make quick, cheap content. And to everyone that sees this and watches this, thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting. It's not something I will ever compel you to do, but it's always something I'm very appreciative of. And until next time.